The Bruins returned to TD Garden and beat the Arizona Coyotes 6-3. I'm Conor Ryan of BostonSportsJournal.com. Here to give you a few takeaways from the Bruins' home opening win over Arizona. And I think when you look at this one, the first thing that kind of sticks out is the secondary scoring really kind of pulling its weight in this one. After that season opening win over Washington, where a lot of the Bruins' top six really kind of pulled their weight in that one, you had a goal from Bergeron, David Krejci, David Pastrnak, all kind of flexed their muscles. It's encouraging for the Bruins to have a game like this where you're having a lot more of the guys a little bit further down the depth chart score. I mean, you had Pavel Zacha score his first goal as a Bruin. You had Charlie Coyle score. AJ Gurr obviously twice. Nick Foligno gets on the board with a goal, which is huge for him in terms of building some momentum. And even Derek Fulbert, not really a guy that you're paying to score goals, but just encouraging to see a lot more guys kind of pull their weight there. And again, I think it's important to preface the fact that it is the Arizona Coyotes. This team is not good, but if you got kind of a tomato can kind of matchup like this is the perfect game where you can have some guys build that momentum. Not just a guy like Foligno who's trying to fight for everyday minutes in the lineup, but even a guy like AJ Greer, right? Like, this is a guy that kind of put himself on the radar for a lot of Bruins fans after that really strong preseason game against the Rangers. Having a game like this, a 3-point night, 2 goals, sets up Coyle's goal with a good turn, creating a turnover in the neutral zone. Having a game like this kind of builds that momentum and shows that, that preseason game against the Rangers wasn't just a flash in the pan or an aberration. It's not to say that Greer's going to be putting up, 3-point nights throughout the season or what have you, or he's on pace to have like a 20-goal, 50-point season or anything like that. But I think for a guy like that who's really put himself on the radar for a lot of Bruins fans, to have a game like this is really encouraging, builds that momentum. He was on the third line with Coyle on the right side. So if you're Jim Montgomery and you're looking at this lineup and where guys kind of fit, to have a game like this where so many guys contribute. I mean, it's 2 games, right? But through 2 games, the Bruins have 11 goals and 10 of them are from different players. And it's not like in years past where we're 2-3 games in the season and Pasternak's got 40% of the goals, or it's Bergeron or Marchand. So it's good to see a lot more guys get involved, especially further down the lineup. Other than that, still some good, some bad. Again, for as much as you have a lot of guys breaking through on the stat sheet, got pretty dicey there in the second and third period. It's never great when a team like Arizona, where you look at their lineup card and you can't name all of, maybe 3 or 4 guys on that team. Not good when you're tied 3-3 going into, in the third period. But again, from what Jim Montgomery said post-game, still the same thing where the overall strengths of their game, or most of the game in terms of the puck possession, all that's been strong. The team's buying into the strategy and the systems that he's putting in place. It's just kind of the smaller details that are slipping past them at times that's leading to some of these sequences where the Bruins are kind of making it harder on themselves, as opposed to maybe the other team really kind of pushing the pace or changing the momentum of the game. So, again, a win that you need to have against a team like Arizona. The schedule's only going to get tougher from here. The Bruins have a 3-4 coming up, including some matchups against Florida. Anaheim's a team that can be dangerous. So it's important to pile on the points early on when you have these kind of matchups, especially when you still have guys like McAvoy and Grzelcyk and Marchand still out right now. The only other main takeaway, not good for the Bruins considering the state of their decor. Brendan Carlo exits in the waning minutes of the first period, got hit by Liam O'Brien. Sounds like a perfect Bruin, but exits the game. Post-game, Jim Montgomery didn't have a lot of clarity on Carlo's status, other than the fact that upper body, you look at the video replay and you kind of look at Carlo's track record and his history. It's only natural to assume the worst in terms of his concussion issues in the past and what that might mean. So it's always tough before we actually have a set, timeline on recovery. It's so tough to chart something like that. So all you can really do, in the immediate aftermath of the game like this is hope that Brendan Carlo's okay and he's not going to be out for a long term. Because even though, last year was tough for Carlo and how he can kind of build into the lineup, if you're looking at putting up the best decor, the best 6-man personnel you can, Brendan Carlo factors into that equation. You need a healthy, effective Carlo to be kind of solidifying that second pairing, especially once guys like McAvoy get back. So For the time being, it's going to be a lot of tough sledding for the Bruins. I'm sure they're hoping that Anton Strawman gets back as soon as he can. Hopefully he's maybe waiting at a federal building on Monday, bright and early, to get those visa issues settled out, because they desperately need a guy like him on the right side moving forward. But other than that, the Carl thing was kind of the only real stain on an otherwise game where the Bruins kind of took care of business against a team they had to, and had a lot of other guys step up and put their names on the score sheet, which is encouraging to see. So that's our quick takeaways. You can go to bostonsportsjournal.com and read all the rest of our takeaways in terms of quotes, videos, game report. We'll have our regular notebook out every Sunday that goes through not just the Bruins, but across the NHL as well. So again, please subscribe over at BSJ for all your content related to the Bruins. Thanks, guys.